So Max does tier lists. But what he does, most people when they do a tier list, in fact, everybody else when they do a tier list, is they just compile the knowledge sort of themselves, and they just go through things themselves. Maybe they check out some of the tier sets, some of the talent stuff, which gets easier as you learn a spec and you learn how it works. When things get added to it, and like one or two things change, it's a lot easier to understand the changes there. So it's a lot more digestible, and you can sort of adjust it and go, oh, okay, I can see how this is probably going to improve the spec or not. So you can base it on previous tier lists and go, oh, well, this tier list I ranked it here, and this tier time I can maybe rank it there, whatever. But Max, what he does, which is really good, because tier lists are dog shit. Like, tier lists are dog shit trash. I hate tier lists. I made a tier list one time, cringiest shit I've ever done, and it was like a meme tier list. It was like a complete meme tier list. Still one of my highest watched videos ever. So, in theory, I should be doing them, but tier lists, kind of cringe. But what Max does, and I actually like his tier list, because he calls up spec leaders or theory crafters from each spec. So you're only ranking your own spec, and he's taking people that are the top end of their spec and going to be able to give really good representation. So he's ranked everyone here. He's ranking every spec here. I am a feral druid in WoW, and I am not currently this season, but historically I'm one of the highest ranked ferals. You know, when you look at sort of like, if I go on Raider.io, I'm a top 0.1% feral from last season. I've got that twice now on feral, I believe. And then when it comes to like Mythic Plus, yeah, I'm like a top 5 feral sort of thing. Pretty consistently, like top 5 feral, top 10 for sure. So Max put rank feral. I put brother I wish, but I'm busy tonight. A minute later I go, actually I can come on if you give me a sec asterisk with like the embarrassed face. Zam.
Okay, Psybear is briefly free.
That's why he laughs right there, because he reads my message.
Hello.
Yo, what's good, Chief?
Everything's good. We're good. We just got back from BlizzCon. Got to hang out with you a little bit there. That was fun.
And it was good fun. It was good fun. It was nice seeing you and all the boys. Oh, dude, I'm fired up. Hilarious, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking yesterday about me and Max. It was actually really nice. Like, I got to meet him. I didn't end up getting a picture with him. Like I say, he's like a Team Liquid, like, part owner, bro. He's like a big old fish and stuff. I was like, I don't want to take up too much of this guy's time. I would talk to him intermittently, so I managed to probably speak to him maybe 2 or 3 times.
Did you see Shaq flopping around at any point?
I didn't see him flopping, but he kept giving me a little fist every time I'd see Shaquille, he'd come up to me and he'd be like, "Hey man," and he's always like super like serious. He's like, "Hey man," I was like, "Hey bro." Shakib's really funny, but I'm fired up. I'm Fired Up is now probably one of my, like, I think I'm a big I'm Fired Up fanboy. Like, I really like that guy. He's funny, man. He seems really chill. The biggest fear I've always sort of had with, like, in the WoW scene is, like, oh, man, I don't know if people really actually like me, or if people dislike me or whatever. But there's so many people that I just got to speak to, and, so many people I got to speak to, and they just all seem like everyone just wanted to talk to everyone, and everyone was so down to talk, and like there was no, like, I don't know, everyone just got on, man. It was really nice. It was really nice. But yeah, it was cool seeing I'm Fired Up, and yeah, like I say, it was cool meeting Max. He was really cool to hang out with. Up to me every time. I was like, bro, I met you like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a bit or if he was. I mean, he was. So just to give you, was this on Saturday night?
No, this was the Friday.
Oh, Friday.
Thursday. Sorry, Thursday.
Okay, yeah, because on Friday, I got a call from JB's wife, Shanna, and she had me come down and escort him out of the Hilton before they called the cops on him for dropping drinks, and which would have gotten him arrested and maybe deported.
That is wild. Oh wait, serious? This is a real thing?
Oh yeah, he was just, yeah. I mean, he wasn't doing anything bad. Way. He was just like, he just kept spilling drinks, and they were over that. Yeah, that's
a bit extreme. In England, they just go "way" when someone drops a drink. They don't threaten the cops. Okay, well, I hope he's all right now. But
oh, he's perfectly fine. Yeah, I just had to convince him on the. I called the Dollar's house, and I was like, "Can I leave Shaq here? But importantly, you can't let him leave because he will leave if there's a door. He'll just like walk somewhere." But yeah, no, He's good now. All right, so I need you to
Right,
give
now we
me
get into the actual ranking.
some info on Feral and stuff. I know you've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy, but you're always my Feral guy. What's your thoughts on Feral coming up?
Yeah, sure, man. So do you want exclusively raid
Nah,
conversation or both?
both combined. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I have been playing a lot of Final Fantasy, but I've obviously like done some PTR testing of keys. I've done a little bit of raid testing with Honolulu. Shout out to my boys. And yeah, I mean, I think Feral's looking really good. We are getting some
Is his chat
improvements.
on as
The
well?
tier set looks really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
In my
His
opinion,
chat's
with
there.
Feral Frenzy, giving us more single target, getting it more often, and then it also increasing our damage a bunch, which is like increases all of our other damage, right? So that's going to be getting us more single target.
It was funny though when he says about getting me on. Someone in his chat goes, "Wait, I thought he's a Final Fantasy player." Everyone forgot about me, man.
And AoE in essence. So we were already taking it in raid pretty much all the time, like Feral Frenzy all the time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people are upset about Feral Frenzy like being locked into a talent because of a tier set, but the way I see it is you either get a boring bland tier set or you get something that's gonna interact with your toolkit, and so we're getting something that we were taking all the time anyway.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, FF player now? Yeah, well, I'm playing Feral Frenzy. It's a talent you play now because of the new tier set that we're getting, so I'm literally an FF player. They're probably trolling? Maybe, yeah. But it's... Some people were upset about this tier set because it locks you into a talent, but you're always taking it in raid period anyway. But then now, you're taking it in Mythic Plus a lot as well. You're taking it on like Vortex Pinnacle, Brackenhide Hollow, Brackenhide Hollow, Vortex Pinnacle. I think there's some others where you're taking it anyway. So now it just means like, yeah, okay, you're taking it 100% of the time, but you're already taking it so much anyway. It's like identifying Zepler as a Genshin Impact streamer. Yeah, exactly.
So the Feral Frenzy tier set I think is good. We've got a couple build options for raid.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got like a convoke build and a non-convoke build.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, which I think is cool because I know a lot of people they talk about wanting to play.
Having multiple builds is really cool.
Also have the inverse where everyone's like, I hate convoke, I never want to touch it ever again.
Yeah.
So I think having those couple options there is good. I don't know what the last couple bosses in the raid
Hell
look
yes,
like.
Annie.
That'll obviously dictate how good Feral is based on what kind of fight design it is, and I genuinely don't know what those look like at the moment. But I like having access to a couple build options. I think our single target looks good. Like I think it looks really quite good, but I haven't looked at every single spec.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
For Mythic Plus as well, I think we're going to be looking good. Obviously, with no Demon Hunter, with no Orgvoker, so that's the worry. I think Outlaws also.
Well, you don't
pretty
really.
That's coming in
have
chat.
to
Wait,
beat
where?
Demon Hunter or Ogvoker, right? You just have
That's
to
Feral?
beat the other Druid specs.
True, which I think right now, as far as I'm aware, Guardians.
Psybearslat is the best.
Oh, well, I see it in Swamp Ass. So okay, so Guardians in Swamp Ass. Resto Druid, I don't think is like mega right now.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. Like for Feral to be good, it doesn't matter how good your spec is. It matters how good all the other specs in your class are. And like Feral Druid is good, but you need Guardian, Resto, and Boomkin to all be actively bad. Like they can't even just be like, oh yeah, they need to be bad, dude.
So that bodes well for us. The thing is, I don't know if you heard of this spec Balance Druid, but it seems to be pretty good oftentimes, which is potentially the concern for us and seems to consistently be the issue for Feral Druid as we're competing against the chickens. So in Mythic Plus, I don't know how that's like that. That'll just.
I think Boomy's supposed to be pretty good, right? What was really cool actually is Shroud was watching this. Dorky's watching
Boomy's better
this.
than us, then they'll get taken. If they're not very good, then maybe we'll get taken. But yeah, you will want Mark of the Wild, so maybe that's where Feral comes in. That's my hope.
Why would that matter? Because so we get raid buffs as a class. So you want access to that raid buff. So you definitely want at least one druid in raid. But you want to take the best druid, because if you only need one of four, then you want to be the most efficient with how you're getting that buff. So you want the buff, but also
on the strongest spec, so that your raid group as a whole is the most most efficient, right? Most powerful that it can be. Problem is that Boomy is always really strong, and it's going to continue to be strong this tier because it just always is. I haven't even checked it out yet. Oh no, because raid is 20 players. Or 30 potentially on the lower difficulties, but on the hardest difficulties, raid is 20 players. So for party members, yeah, like if you're in a Mythic Plus group and you're playing as 5 people, then like Boomy being better than Feral isn't necessarily the end of the world. Oh no, this is a tier list for both raid and for Mythic Plus, so it's like a combined one, but. Feral's looking good for Mythic Plus, I think will be quite strong. I'm excited this tier. The problem is that there's a couple specs this tier. There's Augmentation Evoker, which is just going to be absolutely bonkers stupid. Like, it just fundamentally is strong. And then also there's Havoc, which is really good. Enhance looks really good. Outlaw looks really good. In fact, all the rogue specs look really good. We're just, like, Feral's going to struggle to compete with any of these other specs, you know? But if we're better than like Resto and stuff, then hey, people might bring us for Battle Res and Mark of the Wild and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. So you have to pick a numeric ranking, or I guess a ranking on this tier list for Feral. Where does it go? Both combined.
I would put a conservative estimate of B. By the way, I had done 0 prep for this talk, by the way. I had no expectation that he was going to call me. He hasn't called me for the last few times he's done this because he's been using someone else. So it's not often that he calls me. So I was chilling. He just calls me and he's like, "Yo, can we talk?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I've not played much of PTR. I've not done much of raid testing or and stuff like that. I played like a little smidge. It's like, shit, I gotta rank this now based on the other specs and everything. I don't know. But I think A tier would have been fine. Like, would have been good to put us in A tier. But I think conservative. I'd rather be a little bit conservative because no one's going to get mad about me putting it in B tier if it's A tier, right? But if it's A tier, if it's A tier and you put it in B tier, no one's going to be mad. But if it's B tier and you put it in A tier, people will be mad. Because then it'll be like, hey, man, you're making us look better than we actually are. That's not cool. You're supposed to be the guy giving us the, like, true, confident sort of placement. If a healer has a good ability to heal up to 5 players, wouldn't that spec be better in 5-man content than 20-man, but worse in 20 than a class that could spread similar amounts of heals to 20 peeps with an ability? It doesn't really work like that in WoW. Yeah, like, all healers can do everything, really, more or less. So that doesn't really work so much like that. Like, all healers are built for 5 and 20-player content. Like, no issues. There's potential for A, but I would say like somewhere in that BA section.
Okay. And then I have 2 more questions for you. Number 1, you sound like you've already answered. Do you think Feral is in the de facto best Mythic Plus comp this season?
I don't think it's in the best. I think it's
no way.
Like, just
no way.
Sort of shot. Like, it's just beneath that. Like, I don't think it's Swamp Ass. I think it's going to be strong, and I think it'll hold its own, but it just won't be Biss. Yeah.
Okay, and then do you think, or are there any or how many Ferals are in the world first kill of Fyrak?
So he asked me this. I'm obviously messing around. It's obviously 0. But I was like, I'll mess around. Oh, God. I think we see... At best, I think we see 1. I don't think you stack them. I think at best you see 1. But if history is anything to go by, I say 1. I was like, you know what? Whatever, man. I'm just gonna say 1. Who's gonna stop me?
You say 1. Okay, that's a just for people who want to.
You're not gonna see 1.
The amount of feral druids. The last actually.
It looks way cooler if you're like, oh man, we're gonna see a feral, and then if a feral gets played, then it's like, hey man, I told you. Whereas if you say a feral's gonna get played and they don't get played, no one's gonna be like, oh man, you promised it were gonna be like, no one's gonna care. But you look real Giga Chad if you predicted it.
Wait, when was the last raid in the Race World First where like the top teams brought a feral druid? It was in Siege of Orgrimmar, in MoP. It wasn't in Blackrock Foundry. It wasn't in Hellfire Citadel. I think it was Siege of Orgrimmar. Yeah, it's been literally 10 years since it was correct to play a feral druid in progression. So that would be bringing it back.
Cope AF, holy coping. Bro, chat gets so intense. Like, chat takes everything so seriously. Like,
It's obviously a joke, man. We're not gonna get played. Like Boomkin always, Feral never gets. It's not been played in 10 years.
Back. So let's
Bro, there's kids that are Fortnite dancing right now that weren't even alive last time Feral was played in Raid. So hopefully one of you boys, if it does get played, maybe one of you boys. Just talk to Shakib. Maybe he'll do a little Fortnite dance. I'm sure he will.
Oh, yeah, he'll probably rip one. Yeah, he'll do the one with the L on the head. Yeah, that's good. All right.
All right, man. Good stuff. That was a really brief talk. There's probably a lot more I could have said.
Yeah,
but
of course.
You literally. I'm main Feral. I can tell you now, we are not in B. Okay. I love those types of comments. Hey man, I also main Feral. like that's like someone's qualification is just, well, I main the Spec. Yeah, man, so do I. That's why I'm on the fucking call. Like, come on, bro. The thing is, right, like I said, you want to go conservative, because if you just say, like, we're in A, it's a real dangerous game, because Blizzard actively there are Blizzard devs right now on the balancing team and stuff and the design team that are watching this call. Max was streaming to 30,000 people. You don't just go and be, oh yeah, man, we're gonna be so good, bro, just because you want to believe that you're gonna be good. I think Feral is probably an A tier, but like, honestly, put us in B. Like, we're not a C tier Spec. We're definitely above a C tier Spec. We bring a lot to the group. We've just had some nice changes, like innovate and stuff. Our single target's about to be pretty nasty. We're gonna have multiple builds. We're gonna have more burst available in certain situations. Like, our AoE is gonna look really, really good. Our single target's gonna increase our AoE. It's just, we're gonna be good. And again, we bring all the utility that Druid brings, which is a lot of utility. Some of it unique. So, you know, like, caught me. I was watching Great British Bake Off, so you just caught me in my little
Perfect
element right there.
Yeah, you're good.
Man.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, man.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
So that was that, dude. That was that. I just wanted to show you guys that, because I was like, oh, maybe people might be interested in sort of checking that out. Obviously, you guys all know Max. It's pretty cool to go and have those talks. I really like them. It's hard with those talks, because it doesn't matter what you say, there's always going to be someone who disagrees with you. But like, for me now, I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. I'm just like, nope, like, I'm just gonna go on and give my opinion and do my best there, and it is what it is, you know. But I was not prepared. Like, I'll be honest, I did check in with the Feral Feral Theory Crafters, because I'm in a Discord with them, and I was like, oh, hey, you know what, you guys happy with what I said and everything? You guys, like, is that cool? And they were like, yeah, you did great. They were like, the only thing that maybe wasn't the best was you saying that there's gonna be one in on the race sword first. And I was like, yeah, I'm just messing with that. Like, obviously not.